Hey Saber fans, Tony here from Sabers, and today on unboxing review for you. If you're new to the channel, I do install, repair, and review these sabers, so please like, comment, and subscribe. Now, if you like what we see here on Ronin Sabers, I do have a secondary channel called Ronin Cast, where me and my editor Jeremy talk about more than just Star Wars. We talk about Marvel and DC and all this other stuff, and it's a lot of fun stuff. It's more informal, so definitely go check it out. We have a few videos up there now. Today we're going to be unboxing a 89Sabers SkinnyFlex. So this is their Anakin Skywalker version of Revenge of the Sith. I do have another saber unboxing of a very similar saber from 7Sabers called the AniFlex, and I've installed their saber and version of that too, as well as this version here, so definitely go check it out. There's going to be all the links below in the description, so definitely go check it out. Without further ado, let's unbox this. Alright, so, cool 89Sabers cover, and then we've got the stuff. So first off, you can notice that you got your main hilt itself and the body, which looks like the control box is a bit loose. Check out the gate. And then we'll put this to the side here, in front of the box. Whoop. And we'll take all these little baggies out and kind of show you. Looks like the grips, looks like the gold button here, looks like the clamp card, either bag of screws or random bag. And then your Cobra Tech and your Allen key to put that in, and then it looks like the vented pommel. Am I missing anything? I do not think so. So this is gonna go bye-bye. Alright, so I'm gonna spread this out here real quick, kind of give you a rundown. So yeah, this breaks apart separately than the AniFlex does. Previously, the AniFlex from 7Sabers breaks about right here, and this whole section goes out because this is mainly used for static. With this, I believe, yeah, it breaks from this grenade section, from this Graflex clamp down, and so you can unscrew this here, and then voila, it's got like a two-tone type layer in the inside, and then you got your normal display pommel, put it to the side currently, and so you've got some space in there, and then you got some close-up detail here. Just, it's all fingerprint magnet. I already dirtied it up like crazy, but yeah, and then this knob here can be a potential switch. Yeah, that's nice. And then also, it looks like you only get one switch on this. Yeah, 89Sabers only provides one switch here, and so you can, I guess you can choose either here or here. So yeah, and then the bunny ears looks like those are screwed on via. Oh, let me see if I can take this thing off. Oh, look at that. 7Sabers, this is all one piece that you'd have to take off the blade holder itself, and so this whole thing would slide off, but it looks like this section here just unscrews, which is kind of convenient. And then you've got, looks like, two Phillips head screwdrivers holding these bunny ears in. Now if you want to take the full thing apart, there are 4 screws here, which I guess I might as well do to show you guys how to take it apart. Let's see here, you'll need the smaller one. And so your control box has a clamp on there. For the installs for these, they're not designed terribly well for control box activation, which kind of sucks because that's technically canon. But for a practical standpoint, the buttons that are used for these installs are the back button and the front button. So you've got 2 tiny screws that takes off this black clamp box here, as you see, and this is mainly for a placeholder for your clamp card itself and the gold knob on the side. To take off the actual clamp card or the control box, you have to undo these 2 screws here, which putting it together, I'll have to go through and show you as well. These screws are longer, so you'll have a harder time losing them. But when you do unscrew this stuff, or put it back, you have to put these screws on first before you put the gold piece on, or else it doesn't fit exactly the way you want it to. So, alright, so now we got that off. This spins freely. There's no screw holding it in or anything, which is kind of creepy besides the control box screws, which you just saw me take out. And then we'll take out this guy here. Boop. And then you have 2 screws here to hold in that button holder. So I have my handy dandy Phillips here, and I'll do this. Now all these screws have to be removed besides the bunny ears, and then most of the stuff it just slides out. So, Boop, there's that button holder there. The trick is not losing any of these pieces. That's the real trick. And then you can take out these things, which is going to be the hardest part, I believe. On the 7 chambers one, that was the most trouble I had, was taking out these pieces, these gold pieces here you see. And so with this, you probably want some tweezers or whatever, but my fingers are pretty small, so I can probably unscrew these by hand. Also, when they come in, when the sabers ship to you, they probably will only be finger tightened anyways, so you can probably just loosen them with your finger anyway. So, alright, so I'm going to reorganize these bags so you can see all the stuff I unscrewed real quick. And this is an empty bag. Your grips can go over here. This I'm going to lay down so I don't knock it over. Alright, and then you got your control box, both the black piece and that. You've got your main retention screw. You've got your 2 black screws, or yes, 4 black screws I should say. And then your 4 gold pieces there, so you can see all of them, and then the retention screw that I haven't have, the one in the box, I mean the bag I can use still too. So now what you want to do is you can push this directly out, goes this way, and then this can stay here, and you can pull this whole section out. Now this is just a sheath, you don't necessarily need that to install it. That'll be one of the last steps, is to get that sheath back on. And so same with this thing, you don't necessarily need this control, this kind of Graflex clamp piece. So this is what your main install people will need to know, is that your button switches and have channels here and here. You've got retention screws on the side here, 1, 2, and then 3, 4 on the back side, and then these 2 screws holding the clamp itself, and then you've got your normal 2 screws for the buttons and stuff, and then your threading for top and bottom. And so if you wanted to, you can just thread this thing in directly, and it's a beautiful saber. You should see it right now. It's black on silver, haha. So now we're going to reassemble it and kind of give you a rundown on what's needed, and give you the logistics for the most of it. Most of it's just the same thing as taking it apart. It's just the opposite steps. Oh, not that way. So you put the Graflex clamp on. It doesn't matter either or side, which way you flip it, because it's literally the same. It's symmetrical that way. And so you can just put this thing back in. Now you do want to make sure that your buttons are aligned, so just make sure that your gold greebly threading is lined up with this hole here. And you can always rotate it and do it as you will afterwards too, because it's not terribly snug. Another way to line it up perfectly is to start screwing in your retention screws and stuff. Let me see here. Make sure that it's threaded in correctly. Otherwise, it wouldn't screw in correctly. So there, got that screwed in. We're gonna put this guy back on. Yes, this way. Since I am going to install this, I'm not going to put it together entirely. I'm going to kind of put what I can together. And then I did want to show you how the gold piece goes in here, because I feel like a lot of people were asking questions and wanting to know how exactly to do it. So I'm going to go do that after I put this control box back on. So, like I said, the worst part is trying to put this gold piece in, these gold pieces in, because the threading is so small and you can barely put your sausage fingers like mine inside the hole. So you have to maneuver, you at least have to thread it once, and then you can kind of put pressure on it with your finger and just twist. That's kind of it. And then for the installs, I usually glue them in, and so they don't go anywhere. Alright, so now we're going to go put that gold piece in, like I said. You've got 2 springs available, and you should have 2 pins. I see one here, 1 pin there, and another spring. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to demo one, because it applies to both of the springs. So you have this control section here, and this gold piece slides right into here, and it moves back and forth. But the only way it kind of hugs there, and if you wanted to, you can install buttons in there, and so you can click on and off, but there's not a really good solution for that. Now, if you're wondering what the orientation of this is correctly, the large piece goes up on the hilt, like this, like so, and then you can go in. So what I recommend is working on a flat surface. You want to, before you put the, I just dropped the spring. Before you put the gold piece in, you want to be very steady with the spring, and you want to put pressure on it and then push the gold piece through. Now, it might not work the first try, as you can see, and voila, booyah. And then the next step is to put that gold pin inside that tiny, tiny little hole. I don't know how well you can see it. It's literally right there. But you have to put pressure on it with one finger and make sure the gold piece does not slip out. So, like so, you drop the pin in there, like so, and that piece isn't going anywhere. You can pull on it, but the reality is it's not going to go anywhere. So that's the main thing, and then of course you can put your grips on, and when you're done, it should look something like this one I have here. And so I kind of give you a comparison. So the only thing that's really missing is gluing on the control box, which you will need to glue. People were asking about that too. You will have to glue this piece on because it's a static piece. So once you get the control box on and the black spacer there, you will have to put glue on for that. And the way you can do that is, so you want to put this black spacer on first. It does have a gap right here for that gold piece that I just put on. So you want to rotate it and make sure that the orientation is correct, so you can just place this thing down, and then these two tiny screws will be the last thing you put on before gluing on your cool little clam card. So when you're finished, of course it looks something like this, beautiful, and ready to install, or in this case, already installed. So also worth mentioning with this one is installed, but I didn't think about it. I thought for 7 chambers, you just have to screw on this piece, and the button is held in by a lip that's there. For this one, it's loosely fitted. I'll show you here. It's just floating on top and doesn't make contact with the button. So what you'll need to do is glue on a little spacer, or just put like hot glue, or in my case I use E6000, and you want to put that in there so you do have tactileness on that button, and you still can use this on there. So that was the only thing I kind of didn't like compared to 7 chambers versus, 89 Sabers versus 7 chambers. The 7 chambers had a solution ready for this button. 89 Sabers, you have to glue it, and I'm not a huge fan of gluing buttons like that. So just word to wise, you do have to glue that. Other than that, really pretty good. So the one thing that you'll notice with this hilt in general is that the chrome plating only extends to the bottom half and the top half. The middle section here is actually not chrome plated at all. It has more of a metallic finish, not exactly chrome, but just a fine finish. Another thing I noticed was that the grips between the 7 chambers and the 89 Sabers, the 89 Sabers do have rubber grips. The 7 chambers had hard plastic ones, which I favor the rubber, and I suggested that 7 chambers gets the rubber ones for their newest model, the Supreme or the Elite version of their SkinnyFlex. But yeah, and then something else to notice here is that there's a divot here. With 7 chambers, it was flush with this divot here, which is kind of nice. I like it flush. There's not as a huge chamber section there. These cost $260 from Korbanth. They're on pre-order right now. If you want one, you can go order one. I'm not sure when their shipping dates are. I know that 7 Chambers has their Anti-Flex Supreme or Elite coming out July 1st. So if you guys want or interested in those, definitely go check out Korbanth and 7 Chambers. So far, both of them are very, very accurate. I don't necessarily have a preference on who's more accurate or which one I like more. I love the weight of the 7 Chambers, but I do like the rubber grips on the 89 Sabers one. So it depends on your preference, what you're interested in. This one's a lot lighter. This one's, they're, as install friendly goes, they're both very install friendly. I was both able to install these within a day or two of me getting the chassis and all the materials. So as far as install goes, they're both very similar. And so, alright, so that concludes the unboxing for this. Again, I've installed this one and a 7 Chambers one if you want to go check those videos out. Both very accurate sabers. I hope this was very informative. Of course, have a wonderful day, and may the Force be with you.